Hey guys, Alistair Cunningham here, and on today's show I'm going to talk to you about how I started my first business. You see, many of you are watching this and you're actually a bit like bamboozled by how do you start your first business. You got all these great ideas running around, but you have no idea how to actually take the leap. Some of you are so scared that you'll never take the leap, and I urge you, do something now to take that leap. You see, I started my first business, and when I did that, I had £443 to my name. I always remember this because it was just after I got my first mortgage for my first property. This was way back in 2004. I remember the mortgage got approved, I think it was November the 15th, 2004. So we got the letter saying the mortgage has been approved and how we completed on the property. And I remember I was always holding off on giving up on my job because I was scared that if the mortgage company found out that I'd given up my job, then they would decline the mortgage. So I waited until literally we got the keys for the property and then I quit my job. And the interesting thing being is I only had £443 to my name. You see, the mortgage was £600 a month, but I only had £443 a month. So I've got an awful lot of pressure to make this business work. Now back then I was a bus and coach mechanic. I left school and I went into what's called a modern apprenticeship, and that meant I went to work 4 days a week, and then 1 day a week I went to college to learn the technical aspect of the business. And I was fixing buses and lorries, and I was lying underneath coaches at the side of motorways and in garages getting filthy dirty, and I was learning the old school trade of being a mechanic. And yes, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I really did. I loved getting filthy dirty every day. I loved using my hands to fix things and to get buses running again. I loved it. I loved the brain side of it, the technical aspect of it. You'd get a bus come in and it wouldn't work, or it wouldn't be running properly. And then you have to go back to basics. You have to think about what's causing it not to run that way. Back then, it wasn't so much like computer programmed. It was all very much old school engines. So you had to really think about things. Today, the mechanics just plug computers in and the computers pretty much tell them what's wrong with it. Back then, it wasn't the case, so you had to think quite a lot. And I loved that aspect of it. You see, I've been brought up by my parents where they've always said, look, if you want to make money, you've got to work hard. Get a trade behind you. That way you'll always have an income. And I learned through that method of teaching. And I went into a job with that understanding that you've got to use these to make money. See, the thing is, I was working for a company called C-Marks Coaches. This was a long time ago. That company's gone bankrupt a long time ago. But this was a company a long time ago, one of the biggest coach companies in Luton. I worked for them from 1997 until early 2000s. And I was loving it, I really was. But I always knew I wanted more. I was earning probably £200-300 a week. And as somebody in their early 20s, that was actually really good money back then. And what was happening was I wanted more. I didn't want to be on £200-300 a week. I wanted more. You see, I was speaking to my boss at the time, and his name was Phil, and he was in his 40s, and he was only earning £400 a week. So I'm thinking, hold on, as a 20-year-old, I'm earning £200 a week, and my boss, who's double my age, is earning £400 a week. So he's earning double my wage, but he's still only earning £400 a week. And I'm like, that's not good enough. I don't want to get to 40 years old and be on £400 a week. The reality is this, I had to make a choice. Do I stay in employment and be comfortable, or do I learn something new? Take that leap of faith and just go for it and give it everything I've got to make money. I chose the latter. And what I can tell you now, I'm 40 right now. I'm actually making in excess of £80,000 a month. Not £400 a week. My businesses are systemized. They make money without me actually being directly involved. I'm only directly involved in this business. I'm only directly involved in this business. My other businesses make money while I sleep. My other businesses make money while I'm on holiday. And the thing is, 20 years ago, I was earning £200 a week. My boss was earning £400 a week. Fast forward 20 years, I'm earning way more money than he will ever earn. And the thing is, it's all because I took the leap of faith to start my first business. My first business was a commercial vehicle mechanic. So I had the skill set to be a mechanic. I picked that up, I learned through the trade, and I was very good at it. So what I'd done, and I always remember, I had £443 in my bank. My first mortgage for my first property was just approved, and I went out and I quit my job. I then had a week to make this work, because I had to give a week's notice. So I remember giving my notice in on a Monday, leaving on a Friday. And I'm like, hey, the shit's about to get real. I've got a week's income left. I got 1 week left of money coming into me. So I've got to make this work. All I had was the heart to do this, the brain to do this, the equipment to do this, but I didn't have any customers. None. I had no customers. So I've got to make this work. How am I going to make this work? Because not only do I have bills to pay, I've also got a young daughter, and I've got things I've got to take care of. I've got responsibilities. So I went out there, £443. I bought myself a van. I threw my toolbox in the back of the van, and then what I'd done was I drove round every single bus and coach company, independent bus and coach company in Bedfordshire, Northamptonshire, Hertfordshire, Essex, everywhere, literally anywhere that was within 2 hours of Northampton and Bedfordshire, I would go and visit them. I was driving to these garages and these small bus companies. And I didn't go to the national companies because they're pointless, they all do tendering. But I went to the small operators. You know, the typical bus and coach operator that has maybe 3 or 4 or maybe 10 buses. I would go in there and I'd try and sell myself to them. So I got a load of business cards printed, I got a load of leaflets printed, and then that's it, I'm off. Jump in the van, I'm driving to all these garages. And I'm going dressed smart, you know. I'm going dressed smart because I'm trying to make a good impression. And I arrive at these garages and I start speaking to the owners, and I'm like, hey, my name's Alistair and this is what I want to do. I'm a commercial vehicle mechanic. I can come and I can help you. I can come to your garage. I can come here when you need me and I'll help you fix your buses and get them back on the road. I'd done this relentlessly for weeks. Weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. Finally, I got a phone call. I got a phone call from a guy called Chris Day. And unfortunately he's passed away now, but he used to own a coach company, a bus and coach company called Red Rose Travel in Aylesbury. And I got a phone call from Chris Day saying, hey Alistair, I've got your business card here, would you like to come over and meet me? So I'm like, yes, of course I do. I got straight in my van and I headed over to Aylesbury. And I'll always remember this, I couldn't actually, at the time, what had happened was the money I had in my bank was depleting very quick because I wasn't making money at this point. I was doing the odd job for like £30, £40 or £50 here. But that sort of money is nothing. It's coming in, it's going straight back out. You'll do a job or a jump start, or you'll go and change a starter motor or something for somebody and you'll get paid 30, 40, 50 quid. That's nothing. That's putting diesel in the van. That's putting food on the table, but you're not actually making any money. And then my big breakthrough was when Chris phoned me and he said, well, Alistair, would you like to come over and have a meeting? So I got in my van, but I always remember I didn't have the money for the diesel. I had 1/4 of a tank of diesel, but I lived in Bedford and Aylesbury's a good 50 miles away. So I knew that I could get there, I just couldn't get back. And I remember I got in the, I didn't care. I'm like, I'm going. I got in the van, I drove over and I met a guy called Chris Day. Like I say, he was the owner of Red Rose Travel. And Chris was very much an old school mechanic. Very much old school mechanic, old school garage owner, and old school operator. Back in his younger days, he was a mechanic. Then he started buying the buses, then he started running the buses, and he actually had a very successful business. And I went over and I met him and I was chatting to him and he pointed over to the corner of the yard, and I always remember there was a bus in the corner. It was a Dennis Dart, I know you don't know what that means, but it was a Dennis Dart bus. The registration was RR02BUS and it was bright orange. And I remember it parked in the corner and he said, that bus, it's been there for about a year. I went, all right, cool. And he goes, it failed its MOT last time it went and we've just parked it up and we've done nothing with it. He goes, I've got an MOT slot available on Friday. This is Monday. He goes, if you can get it to MOT, you can do the job. I went, all right, I'll have a bash. I'll have a try. So that's it. I've got my first gig, my first job. Get that bus through an MOT. Listen, that bus taught me loads. If you want to find out what lessons I got from that one job, you got to stay tuned to next week's show, because I'm going to talk to you about why you should always value yourself. I got my biggest ever business lesson from that bus. I'm going to tell you all about that next week. Listen, my name's Alistair Cunningham. I can't wait to see you next time. Hey guys, I really want to help you. I want to help you grow. I want to help you be inspired. I want to empower you to change your life. Now the thing is, I've been in business since 22 years old and I'm now 40. Actually, 40 this week. And I'm making more money now than I've ever made. But trust me, over the last 18 years, I've made many mistakes. I've learned loads of lessons. I've won and lost. I've made money, lost money, made friends, lost friends, done big business, done small business. And let me tell you something. Business is experience. Experience gives you lessons. Them lessons I've put into a training program called the Business Launchpad. The Business Launchpad is aimed at you. It's aimed at those people that are looking to take their small business and create it into a six-figure business. So it doesn't matter what you're doing. It doesn't matter if you're a bricks and mortar business. It doesn't matter if you're a property entrepreneur. It doesn't matter if you own a shop, if you're an electrical engineer, if you're a plumber, a mechanic, a garage owner. It doesn't matter. I have got the experience to help you take that business from where you're at to six figures. I know I can do that. I've done it many times and I've helped hundreds, if not thousands of people do that too. The Business Launchpad happens on a monthly basis and you're invited to come along for just £1. This event will change your life and it will change how you see things. You see, there's 5 elements of business. Number 1, you've got sales. Number 2, you've got marketing. Number 3, you've got the business behind the business. Number 4, you need to learn how to present to people. And number 5 is you. You see, no matter how strong your sales are, no matter how strong your marketing is, no matter how strong the business behind the business is, if you don't believe you can receive it, you never will. These 5 elements will explode your business and explode your income, and I'm inviting you to come and spend a day with me and learn how I can help you grow that business. Guys, my name's Alistair Cunningham. There's going to be a link just up there to get registered for this event. Get registered. We're coming to a town near you or virtually. Get registered, just £1. See you there.